Turn the rig around. Go back for her.
No.
Tell him to turn the rig around.
Did you see it?
She went under the wheels.
Did you see it?
She went under the wheels.
We keep moving.
No.
We keep moving.
I know what he's talking about.
All right, guys, we're back with our Mad Max retrospective with Fury Road. That's right. I believe this is 35 years later since we had the dreadful, and I don't know if I said dreadful enough, Mad Max Beyond the
Well, your math, as you would say, is dreadful because it's actually exactly 30 years since...
I added 5 more years just because...
Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome added 5 years onto our lives when watching it.
Yes, there you go. That's perfect. There you go. Now, and George Miller, good on him, went on to do other things. Lorenzo's Loyal, I think he did, which was well received. Obviously, Oscar nominated for Babe, Pig in the City, then Babe 2. No, it was Babe, then Babe, Pig in the City. Then he did Happy Feet, kind of completely off course to what you were used to seeing George Miller do.
Children's films, basically.
Yeah, I mean, good on him. That's cool. And really, actually very well received. I'm glad he did that. I like to see a director branch out. And so when he announced he's coming back to the Mad Max franchise, a little concerned because we all know how I feel about Mad Max 3. I felt he's kind of a cop-out and kind of sold himself out, unfortunately. But seeing Fury Road, this man is... He's just a visionary.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. I watched this again, and I watched this and Furiosa back to back, and they're beautifully executed stories. And I had a big thing for Furiosa, and I watched it, and I've watched it like 4 or 5 times, and I'm a little more removed from it as much as I really liked it when I first saw it. But it's got some wonderful elements. But I think you need to watch Fury Road and then Furiosa back to back to really get the rush that I just experienced.
I've watched Fury Road quite a few times myself as well, but I hadn't watched it in a couple of years. Whenever I went to see Furiosa for the first time, and I was thinking to myself, I think in certain ways Furiosa, this is at the time after seeing Furiosa, I felt that possibly Furiosa was better, and I would still think in some aspects like characterization and story, it's slightly shades with Fury Road. However, then I rewatched Fury Road for this podcast that we're doing now, and it's incredible, and it's definitely overall better. Yeah.
I mean, I will say this. I did say that I still think The Road Warrior is the better of all the films of the Mad Maxes. And after watching Fury Road again, I'm going to stick with what I said. And I actually think Mad Max fans would agree with us that Road Warrior, because it's a little more gritty and grounded, where this is just a fucking rock opera. And I haven't watched it in a couple of years, but let's just jump into it and talk.
Well, doing my homework for the podcast as well, aside from watching it again, I know that a lot of other big name directors were basically whenever they met George Miller, they were basically gobsmacked how on a technical level he filmed it without multiple people dying.
It's unreal. It is. Yeah. This is. And I said when we reviewed it once before, this is a masterpiece in filmmaking. It is 5 out of 5. Nothing can touch this film. Nothing. It's still, I know it sounds weird that I still think Road Warrior is a better film, and Road Warrior isn't a masterpiece, but I think that's why it's better. I think it's got its flaws because I like the independent rawness, where this one has got a big studio backing, and that's fucking great. If you want a studio backing and you give us this fucking film, work away. Please do. 80% practical. 80%. Yeah. And he says
according to some reports I've read, 90%.
Well, the sandstorm and you can see a little bit, but when you do CGI with practical, this is how you fucking do it. And when I watch Fury Road or Furiosa, I can see Furiosa taking a little too much of the CGI. But we'll jump.
Yes, there's a particular scene in Furiosa which we'll get to.
We'll jump into
on that podcast.
We'll jump into it. But
yeah,
let's jump in to Fury Road and just have a good time and make some jokes and just enjoy this fucking visual treat. This is
spectacle.
It's unreal. I just you get chills watching it. It's just fucking. I guess that's the end of our podcast.
Yeah, but yeah, this is basically the Road Warrior with a shitload of budget thrown at it.
Yeah, but done right. That's what I'm saying. If you're going to do it and you're going to do big studio backing, wow. And the great thing about Warner Brothers backing this up, they kind of left him alone because some of the shit this guy gets away with. It's just, okay, but you know what?
Well, it goes back to even what we were talking about in the original Mad Max. And even though it's big budget and there's millions of dollars thrown at it, it still feels in a way like guerrilla filmmaking.
It does. Like they left him alone.
Insane.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Do your thing. We're turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to jump into this one. So, again, it wouldn't be a Max film without our boy Max and the rest of this wonderful cast. Furiosa, Knox, Immortan Joe, Slit, Rictus Erectus, Toad the Knowing, the Dag, Cheeto the Fragile, the People Eater, the Bullet Farmer, and, of course, my favorite guitar player of all time, the Doof Warrior.
The Doof Warrior. Yep. Yeah.
Man.
One of my favorite, a couple of them actually pop up again in Furiosa.
Yes,
including
Rictus Erectus, and they all kind of come back. And Immortan Joe,
and the guy, the organic mechanic.
Yeah. You see, he switches teams, but we'll jump into that one.
Yes, we'll find out how. Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene alone it's just, it's so good. It's just one big, I don't know. So in the beginning here, when you're seeing Max,
yes,
and he's taking a whiz. Yeah, I love the little scene, the little gecko, whatever the fucking thing is.
He eats it,
and he eats it. He doesn't even really touch it. He just kind of grabbles it in his mouth. And when we're introduced to him, he turns to the camera where you can see him with the tail, and it's still moving and shit. Just eats it raw and alive.
And he's also, I believe, before he does that, I think he's been eating dog food again, which again is a big tip of the hat. He's driving the Interceptor. So, yeah, we've discussed this outside of this podcast. This is not a direct sequel to the original trilogy. This is a reboot and a new universe. Miller's basically admitted it.
I don't think he has admitted it. I think you're wrong. I don't think it is.
No, I've read up on it.
I don't care. Well, you got to realize some of these reviews, until George Miller gets on and says no, because he still has the leg wound. He still has the leg brace. You didn't notice that, did you?
This is George Miller being quoted. Hard true or not, it is. But I probably think too much about these things. But I was trying to piece everything together in terms of, the overall story. If it is a direct sequel, this would have, if it is, it would have to be set before the Road Warrior because he still has the Interceptor. And so, yes, it doesn't really add up. And it does appear to be the things like, the knee brace and stuff like that. They're basically more like references to the original trilogy. Now, I would say I was wrong about something, the way he has the flashbacks to like a young girl being sort of killed and stuff. Apparently, I thought, well, in this one he has a daughter, but in the original trilogy he has a son. But apparently that's a completely different character. Apparently this was followed up in official comic books or graphic novels related to Fury Road. Apparently these nightmares that he's having are a young woman and her daughter who he tried to see it but couldn't, but weren't related to him.
Okay. I didn't take it. Like we mentioned before, Mad Max are one-off films. They all are. They don't really bleed onto each other. These next two do a little bit.
Well, the original three definitely bleed into each other. They follow on, especially the first two.
No, you can watch them separate. I mentioned that before.
Oh, you can definitely watch them separate.
You can watch them separate, but you don't need to watch Road Warrior to know who Mad Max is.
Yes, I know that. But for someone like me, who's pedantic and thinks about these types of things way too much.
You do. And you're losing our listening audience now because of it. Thank you.
Right. But and also with a new actor playing Max, due to Mel Gibson for several reasons not coming back to the role, and you know what, I really like Tom Hardy and I really like him in this, but to me Mel is Max, and I would love to see Mel while George Miller and Mel Gibson are still with us. I would love to see them get together for another Mad Max film.
It won't happen now. You've planted the seed with Hardy. Sadly, we'll get into Furiosa and what happened to the box office numbers. I don't think we'll ever get one now. We might.
No, we probably won't.
But we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to have like a crossover. Have even Mel come back as the bad guy or something. And have Tom Hardy come back as Max. That'd be kind of like a true passing of the torch, I think, is what's owed them. I do think Mel Gibson's owed that.
Yeah, well, they did something similar with Immortan Joe in that they brought the toe cutter back to play him, obviously playing a different character.
That's not the same. I mean, it's not. I'm just, but that's nobody really. I mean, yeah, it's cool that he's back, but it's not the same as Mel Gibson passing the torch to Tom Hardy. I mean, that should be done. So I don't know if that's studio involvement, but it can't be Warner Brothers' fault because Warner Brothers backs up. They produce a lot of Mel Gibson's directing stuff. So,
well, I do know that Mel Gibson and George Miller are still on very good terms, and in fact, they were sitting beside each other at the premiere of this film whenever it was first released 9 years ago.
There you go. And maybe he did talk to him and said, "Do you want to do it?" And he's like, fuck, I don't know. Yeah. You just never know. You never know what conversations happen behind closed doors. All right, guys, let's just jump into this. We're kind of going ranting there. I apologize for Trevor's rant.
No, it's not a rant.
I thought it was.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You ain't seen me rant yet.
So you pretty much get Max being chased right away, and then he's ambushed and taken down pretty quickly in his little cool car, which we see get destroyed again by the Citadels.
Yeah, the War Boys.
The Warrior Boys.
War Boys.
It's the Warrior Boys.
The War Boys, just like WAR.
No, they're not.
No, just War Boys. It's not Warrior Boys. It's War Boys. Promise you.
I'm looking this up right now, everyone. How can I make you look bad? Yeah. Free road nuts. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't need a Funko Pop of them, for Christ's sake. I just want to know who the character is, for fuck's sake.
Type in War Boys, Mad Max.
All right, here we go. Boom. Well, I can see where you made a mistake.
Yes,
I can see where you made a mistake.
I'm right.
I was trying to trip you up on purpose.
No, you are bullshit.
So fuck off. So I did that on purpose, but it's War Boys. That's what I had, but I was just trying to see if you were paying attention. So
I pay too much attention.
There you go. You get a golden star for this podcast. Congratulations. I like the film. The film pretty much opens up right away with Furiosa trying to escape.
Yes,
with the ladies, and
the war rig.
In the war rig, and I just love the colors of this. Everything pops, and I love the flares and how the flares warn each. Like Gas Town would be a perfect example, or Bullet Town. We don't really see Bullet Town in this one, but Gas Town we obviously do. And that's to let them know trouble's coming. We have a runaway or whatever. It's just the way of signaling. I believe green means go. Red means watch out. I didn't get all the colors, but I think you can kind of get the idea what they mean.
Oh, yeah.
You get more of the idea what the colors mean in Furiosa, which was obviously we'll get to. Mm-hmm. But the first attack it's when the bandits, these aren't it's not Citadel coming after them first. It's the bandits who are always trying to get the oil from the truck. And this whole first attack, the stunt.
Well, it's
what?
Well, originally it's the ones from the Citadel.
No, it's not.
It's
not. The Citadel is behind them. These guys are bandits. These are just stragglers who are trying to steal from the oil from the rig.
No, the problem is no. That's right, but they come from the side.
Yes,
so there's two groups chasing them.
I just said
they're
that.
Not just, but they're not just bandits. they had a deal with
No,
Furiosa.
that's not them either. You're jumping ahead.
Well, the ones chasing at first. Are the
No,
ones from
they're
the Citadel.
not. The Citadel's way
I think they
behind
are.
them. The Citadel's way behind them. But they're just she's just driving away, right? Then there's a splinter group trying to take over the oil. That's just a whatever. They're just a bunch of bandits, looters. They just want the truck. They have nothing to do with the Citadel. That's the first attack on this rig.
Sorry, you're right, actually. But at the same time...
Okay, why are you arguing with me still?
ones
Now
are
we're going to
still
continue
changing
this, and now
I'm trying to piece it together in my head, because there is a lot going on, despite there being like very little dialogue and stuff. I'm just trying to piece it together in my head. Yes, they are attacked at first by these random guys, and sorry, you know what, Ciaran? I'm big enough to admit whenever I haven't quite got it right.
wow.
But yes.
Between this and the Warrior
Yes.
Boys. Wow.
War Boys.
War Boys. God, you're really embarrassing yourself in this podcast.
Not at all. I was right with the War Boys, and yes, I'll admit that, yes, because this all happens in quite quick succession, where these original bandits come and they try to attack them. They're basically like road warriors themselves, and then it's noticed by Immortan Joe and the gang that they have basically done a runner.
Yeah. So, because what happens, I'll clarify it because you're clearly misled and confused.
I'm not
That's
misled.
okay. You're older. So
You're older than me.
I'm wiser. There's a difference. So no. All right. Yeah. So the bandits come, and this is why her team of the War Boys are helping her. They don't realize yet that she's leaving. She's making a run
Yes.
yet. That's why they're helping her fend off these bandits. All right.
And she has taken a turn to the left off the desert
Yes.
road, and she like says to them, she gives them some bullshit excuse that and they are running with it at this point.
So this whole first attack is warranted. They like, oh, we're doing our job. Let's protect the oil, and it's not till they run into the Citadel teams where they start to realize, what are you doing, Ukraine? And then she has to take them out because they're now going to be a threat because they know that she's betrayed Immortan Joe. All right, so we got Max. God, this course is going way too long. Ah, fuck, I don't care. So
It's worth it.
we get to the Citadel where we see Max and he's being tattooed, his blood type and stuff like that. I don't get the blood bank thing. Are they taking his blood? Are the War Boys fooling on his blood?
Yes, because he's a full life and they're half lives. And part of this new universe in the Fury Road and Furiosa films is that due to the nuclear fallout, essentially, many people aren't. Well, they're basically genetically deformed. Like Screwless and stuff. Yeah, and other sort of children of Immortan Joe. They're what are known as half life. But Immortan Joe wants, even in Fury Road here, the reason he has these, as he calls them, the women breeders, is because he's trying to get a child who is a full life and not basically a genetically mutated person like most of his all of his other kids are. So, but due to the nuclear fallout, most people, certainly the ones born within it, are half-lives. They're genetically messed up, and basically, but there are sort of full lives out there, like Furiosa, who was born in the Green Place, and also Mad Max. But the War Boys are all half-lives, or half-lives. So, but they're basically a drugged-up cult, brainwashed cult, to go out and do the dirty work for Immortan Joe. But they need the blood of a full life, i.e. Max in this case, to basically keep alive longer. So that's why he is just used as a blood bank in this opening chase for the War Boy.
Okay. All right. So he's pretty much like a blood transfusion piece.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then once Citadel does catch up with them, obviously you got Max, kind of a little throwback to being tied in front of the car like they did in the Road Warrior.
Yeah.
And he's got that, Hannibal Lecter thing going for him, which I didn't like. I thought they could have. I mean, I know the guy doesn't say much in the first place. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of distracting.
No, I mean, it didn't bother me either way. You know?
Kind. But it does show Tom Hardy can sell it better, because with Tom Hardy, he's got to show his emotions through the mask and a lot of miming to get his point across, because he can't properly speak. And he does speak. I'll say this. He puts on that accent. It does sound like Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He does.
And apparently him and Charlize Theron did not get on well at all when filming this. Partly a lot of that was down to Hardy. Well, I think all of it was down to Hardy being a dick and showing up late, purposely showing up late on days shooting and stuff. And he, according to Hardy, after he said, because of all this that was going on, he didn't actually know what the hell George Miller was doing. So he was confused. There might have been a bit of a power play there as well. But afterwards, after he's seen the finished product, this film, he got it. He eventually got it. And he actually apologized to Charlize Theron. Partly she was complete professional throughout, always there on time, never late, that sort of thing. But to be fair to Hardy, he apologized to Miller and Charlize Theron for being a bit of an asshole.
He's a true hero.
Yep.
True hero.
He's a road warrior. Yeah.
We don't need another hero. Yeah, this whole chase, again, the Citadel. I mean, again, we did this before in the podcast. Can't explain it. If you haven't seen it, you got to fucking watch it. I mean, and then I got to give a massive shout out. Brian Mays sadly passed. So they passed the baton to this gentleman called Tom Holkenborg. He's known as Junkie XL. He does the score for the next two films.
He's a DJ.
He's a DJ.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing score.
Do you remember about, I don't know if you would have been in the States at the time, but do you remember there was an Elvis song that came out again, but it was number one here in the UK. It was a little less
conversation, a little bit rock and roll, yeah.
That was that guy that did it. And it was billed as Elvis versus Junkie XL.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
It's a great
it's good. It's a cool cover.
Song.
It was, I think they did it for Honeymoon in Vegas.
Yeah, it's not even a cover. It's actual, but it's just...
it's tweet.
It's a remix.
It's tweet.
Yeah, it's a remix. Yeah.
But the score is just beautiful. I mean, it's just intense, and it's got that theme that it's almost like a revving of an engine. It's incredible.
Oh, it's perfect.
It's so good. Not to take away from Brian May's original stuff, but way to up a game. And there's some great little stuff here. I'm not going to talk about everything about it but it's the little things I like the Warrior Boy. There's one guy, per guy, gets speared in the chest and right through the face. And he decides, well, I'm going to self-sacrifice myself now. I'm pretty much dead. And obviously he's got those poles and grenades and shit. And he jumps onto a car and it explodes. Yeah. Self-sacrifice. Yeah. You get a lot of self-sacrifices in this film. So I'll be saying that quite a bit. And even when you can meet the women coming up, I talked about Road Warrior and how I really appreciated the Road Warrior a lot more because it had a lot of really cool characters and you really liked them. So when each one of them kind of got taken out, you want to fuck. But you know what? Yeah. This does it too, quite fucking well, if not better. And you only meet them for like a few mommoments. But then you're like, oh, man, that's pretty cool that, this is what this character is going to do to help out the team.
I would say about the self-sacrifice of the War Boys, it's because they are so brainwashed and drugged up by Immortan Joe, with the spray stuff that they use on their mouths. That's obviously the drugs that they're taking. But also they believe that even if they do self-sacrifice, they're going to Valhalla, which is obviously bullshit that they've been told by Immortan Joe. So they believe that they're like, it's like suicide bombers and stuff. They believe they're doing this for the greater cause and that they're going to heaven or a version of it. So that's what the War Boys think. You know who is one of is the character that has the greatest arc in this film, and it's not Max and it's not Furiosa.
It's Knox.
Knox, yeah. Played by the brilliant Nicholas Hoult.
Yeah. Yeah, Mad Max is Mad Max. I mean, that's just the way he's always been. Furiosa doesn't have one because we already kind of know her story. So it's Knox is the guy who kind of has a journey. But this whole chase, and then it ends with this gorgeous sandstorm tornadoes, and fucking, it's unreal how beautiful the CGI mix with practical works. And this you see all these carnage, all these cars being sucked up into these sandstorms, whatever it is, sand tornadoes.
Yeah.
And you see the bodies falling. It's so beautiful. It's like you should be like, all this chaos is happening, and it's beautifully done. And the sparks of red and the sparks of orange and just these little pops and bursts. And
yeah,
and the great thing is, a lot of filmmakers, they like this quick cut cinema, and it does work in some things. You especially get it in fight sequences where you quick cut. You're like, what the fuck just happened there? What? Every scene, every tire, every body that's in that car is seen being chucked out, or every piece is being, you see it, and it's, I can't.
It's like a canvas. It's like, painter's canvas. I would say regarding things like, quick cuts in other films and action scenes, a lot of the time that is to cover up a multitude of errors. But here you see it all, and it's beautifully done. So it is.
When Max wakes up after the crash, and he this is where he meets Furiosa and the girls. And
yes, the real cargo of the war, right?
Yeah, and the fight sequence between him and Furiosa, again, no quick, just the way it's almost like a ballet between these two, and trying to get the gun and trying to get the bullets, and then there's Nux trying to get him to get the bullets because Nux thinks Max is on his side. He doesn't realize what Furiosa.
They're tight. Him and Nux are sort of tied to each other still as well.
Yeah, and he's still got the mask, which can be a display. So it's this dance that they have. And then they quickly resolve what's going on, that, yada, yada, yada. And I do like the fact he takes the truck, and and Furiosa tells the girls, grab everything you can and let's just run. And because she put a failsafe on the truck where it shuts down.
Yeah.
But
Zoe Kravitz playing one of the women as well, one of the breeders. And also, see the one with the red hair, just going back to
I know who it is.
Elvis's granddaughter.
Yeah, Rachel. No, oh my,
Lisa Marie Presley's daughter.
Christy Grokey or Grokey.
Oh no, she's one of the other ones. She's like the one who talks about you're nothing but a smag head, But the one with the red hair is Elvis's granddaughter, the daughter of Lisa Marie Presley.
No, I'm right. That's Kylie. It's Riley Krogi or something like that.
Right. Well,
she's very tall.
Sure. I just know it's
Riley Keough.
Well, they're all tall.
Riley Keough, I think's her name, but that's the one I'm talking about.
Are you talking about the one with the blonde hair?
The red hair.
The red-haired one, yeah, that's who I'm talking about. And Zoe Kravitz there as well.
Yeah, so they don't really add. I mean, yeah.
I just think they are stunningly beautiful. I mean, they're obviously models. It's just a great sort of counterpart to all the absolute chaos and the craziness of the rest of the wasteland. It's just, and they're even dressed in white, like angelic, and, it's just, but, overall, this is just gorgeous, just to look at from a visual point of view in every respect.
Yeah.
This is very much a feminist film, but it's it's not like it's done in a sort of mature way and a very well told way, which is I've no issues with.
So when they get to the canyons, sorry, and this is where she had to deal with the motorbike gang. And they brought this little extra tank of gas, this little bubble of gas on the side that they're carrying along with them. They're going to give them that, and you leave us alone. Yeah. And it's great. I was a little confused where, they were going to give them the gas. So I don't, and she makes the comment, Max, you can't be seen because they'll think this is a trap. If they only expect me to be here, so I need you to stay low. So why did they start attacking them? Because they were going to give them the gas.
Because they didn't, but because Furiosa lied. The cargo on the truck wasn't the petroleum, the gasoline, as they call it. It was the girls.
Yeah, but no, but they brought. She got the tanker. Behind that tanker, there is another tanker.
Yes,
that was a tanker she was going to give them for the free pass. So why do they attack? I don't think
because she betrays him and doesn't give them what she was meant to.
which was the gas, which he was. She got out of their truck,
But she, yeah,
and she was going to give it to him. All of a sudden, they start shooting. Did I miss something? Did they catch Max or something? Maybe that's what it was.
possibly. But as far as I was concerned, she doubled back on her deal with them, which was very possibly for, well, they supplied her with gasoline. It was for some sort of cargo. I'm not too sure, but she had just basically lied to them to get a free pass for her real plan, which was for her and the breeders, the girls, to escape.
All right, we're just going in circles.
And then the reason they attack is because they know that she's basically betrayed them.
I don't know how she's betrayed him. She's giving them the oil. I don't get that.
It is explained in the film. You know what? I'm going to have to...
I have to watch it again. I must have missed a line.
Yeah.
Because then she goes,
Yeah.
Max.
There is a line.
She goes, Max, run. And then when he knew what she told him how to start the car. Let's start the truck real quick.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so they must have saw one of the girls or something, and the bandits
I think they
panicked.
do.
And that's what happened. It's the only thing I can think of, because she was going to give them the oil. But okay.
But I think possibly they need the gasoline. They want. I think she wants to hold on to the gasoline to make it to the green place. That's where they're heading to. They're trying to find.
I know that, but they have that extra. You're not listening to what I'm saying. You're going in circles. They have the oil separated to give to them. They've been carrying it. It's a little round tank. So that was for them. She was going out to give that to them.
I'm going to have to double check it. There's definitely a line.
There's got to be a line that we missed.
There is. Furiosa explains it, but she.
She says if they see you, Max, it's over.
Yeah.
Because they'll know something's up. So I didn't catch them glimpsing him, so I don't know what I missed. I'm sure. Let's move on. I'm sure people, if you know what it is, give us a shout.
Let us know. And in my head, the way I read it was basically she had in some way betrayed them, and that's why they attack.
This another chase scene was the bicycles, and I love the whoever comes up with these clever little escapisms, like when they set the front of the truck on fire. And so what they do is Max lowers the hydraulics, however it works, and the cow catcher in front of the truck scoops up all this sand, and the sand puts out the fire. Yep. Stuff like that. And it's and not only was he blue, he shot. It's innovative. It's clever.
Oh, totally. And apparently, and very technically done.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. But apparently this film was storyboarded before anything else.
Of course.
Which makes sense, because this is such a visual film. You add with so much craziness and stunts and like proper over the topness. That makes sense to have it storyboarded before anything else.
We're talking about Knox and his little arc here. You kind of feel sorry for Knox just because he's been brainwashed, like you said. And there's a part where he finally comes 1-to-1 with Joe, and he goes, "You get on board that." He goes, "I know how to get onto the truck," and he goes, "You do that, you'll be in Valhalla, with me." But the minute he gets to the top of the truck, he trips up on his chain. It gets stuck, and then you can hear Joe going, "Idiot."
Yeah, that's it, yeah. So this is when basically Joe abandons him, and he then becomes, well, we'll get to it soon enough, where he then sides with the girls and Max.
Yeah, he finds a lot of red flags, and he starts wising up a bit. But
this is about his journey from being in a religious cult to getting out of it and fighting for the greater good instead,
Yeah, pretty much.
And Holt is a brilliant actor anyway, so he's sort of perfect here.
Yeah, he's a good actor. Brilliant. I know, but he's not Laurence Olivier here or Jimmy Stewart.
I didn't say he was, but he can hold. He brings humanity to this role.
No, he is. I like Nicholas Holt. Even when I saw him when he was a chubby little kid in About a Boy, I really enjoyed.
I've never seen that, and I don't want to see it.
Why?
Because it's Hugh Grant in a romantic comedy.
So it's Hugh Grant. He's fucking awesome. You need to open your mind, you sick freak. That's it. I'm saying it right now. If it's not 18 or X, it sucks.
Well, I have my things that I like. And
yeah, you're warped and demented.
If you want to watch Hugh Grant doing his floppy haired, poised,
yes, About a Boy is a fucking great film.
Thing. I haven't seen it, to be fair. I can't.
Toni Collette is so good in it. Oh, you didn't know that?
Well,
You
Toni
hate her?
Collette's a good
You hate her? You always say she.
No, I like Toni Collette.
Wow. She must be a shitty actor because she's in About a Boy.
I was winding you up. I haven't seen About a Boy, so I can't comment on it.
Hateful
But
bastard.
It doesn't.
Do you ever
appeal to
like
me,
sit down
that's
and
to
go,
say.
you know what? God, I've just had a rough day and I just want to put a smile on my face. I'm going to watch like About a Boy or even Pretty Woman. So I'm let me finish, please. Just to
Go ahead.
brighten my day because it's been a rough one. No, you go home and go, God, I've had a rough day. God, I'm going to put in Teenage Tit Freaks and fucking I Spit on Your Grave. Yeah, that cheers me up.
No. When I've had a hard day and I want to chill out and relax and watch something nice and pleasant to me, I'll just dig out Hellraiser or The Evil Dead. You know what I mean? Something nice and some good family sort of wholesome viewing.
Sick bastard. No,
What do you watch? Squirtum Cowboy?
There's a shot I really like, and it kind of humbles Max a bit, and then it takes it away from Max real quickly, and it's when the pregnant girl is on the side of the. And you know they have that famous in the canyons, and they got this big rock sticking out, and she's about to be hit by it, and she ducks, but you think she got hit, and then Max sees that she made it, and Max gives her a smile and then a thumbs up, and then seconds later she gets shot, and she loses her balance and gets run over by a car, and she's pregnant, by the way, and
it's tough.
and then Max quick little quirk smile to her, like way to go, girl, is taken away from him just like that. It's a quick second, but Tom Hardy sells it really well.
Yeah, and it's a totally emotionally powerful scene, you know, in terms of the emotion, whereas before it's just like all these crazy stunts, which are great. But not only that, because she is pregnant with Immortan Joe's child, it enrages Immortan Joe, and you see the grief, like a warped grief on his face, and that's when he gives that famous, you know, that "Rawr!" You know, like scream.
Yeah.
Because she's carrying his child, and the organic mechanic has confirmed that the child will be a full life as opposed to a half life. You know?
Yeah.
So he's even more in grief, you know?
Yeah, because and then
then Rictus Erectus, he then says, I had a little brother. You know? And I'm laughing, but even Rictus Erectus, it's a very emotionally powerful scene all round for both the good guys and
then at the same time you've got the flip side. You got the good guys who's Furiosa, and she wants to go back, and Max says, "Don't do it. No point. Don't go back for her. She's dead." And then she keeps yelling at him, "Did you see her?" And he just says, "I saw her go under the wheels." That's all he has to say. "I saw her go under the wheels. We need to move on." And then Furiosa believes him and goes, "We have to move on, girls. We can't go back. There's no point."
And again, Charlize Theron totally sells that. You just see it in her eyes, you know?
She's tearing up, and Max just has to kind of keep. And Tom Hardy does exactly what Mad Max does. He doesn't lose his temper. He doesn't yell at her about it. He just says, "I saw her go under." And and then plain as day, he just says it quietly because he didn't want to, give him. He just didn't want to give them a descriptive of what he just saw.
Well, not only that, it's Max himself has seen so much death and horrors, stuff like that. It's maybe not water off a duck's back to him, but he's seen it all before, probably worse.
And Nux finds out, because you see a glimpse of when Joe sees Mad Max behind the wheel, and the mechanic and all see Mad Max behind the wheel at this point. Nux now know that they know Mad Max was his blood bag, they called him, and it's over for him. So he pretty much has to choose this side. Not that he really wants to at this point yet, but he's got to be a partner now with Max because his partnership with Joe is gone.
Yeah, but it's not until later on down the line, especially when he has the sort of relationship or there's a romantic tension between him and Elvis's granddaughter.
Elvis's granddaughter.
Yeah, well, that's who it is. It's not till later on down the line that he realizes he's chosen the right side, and then he eventually makes the ultimate sacrifice, not to get to Valhalla because he knows that's all bullshit, but he does it for the greater good for them. Brilliant character arc.
This whole sequence is beautifully shot, and it's the sniper sequence, which I love. This is, to me, the best, visually stunning, and this whole film is visually stunning, but all it is it's like this blue fog like haze, and it's obviously almost like a swampland, which we find out sadly is the paradise they were trying to get to, but
The green place.
they don't realize yet. We'll meet this place in Furiosa, and before it became this shithole. And it's just the intensity of them trying to get this truck out. And Knox decides to jump on their wagon at this point, going, guys, I can drive this truck. I'm one of the mechanics. Let me get you out of this. And they have a sniper. They're being sniped by this brilliant marksman. And you can see it from the far, far distance. And they try to I love when Max, he's got 2 more shots, and Furiosa's going, you got 2 more shots. And he pauses and he goes, you do it. Because he doesn't have the confidence that he can make the shot. And it's just little things like that I love in this sequence. And she puts obviously the gun on his shoulder as she's trying to take the shot, and she takes out his eyes, the gunman's eyes.
That's right, she
blinds him.
Yeah.
But he's still coming, and they're just rapidly firing at everything now. So, and then
and he's giving a crazy speech as well.
Yeah, he's just rambling. Something Toe Cutter would do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and totally perfect for the wasteland.
So Max just goes, I'll be back. And he leaves.
Yeah.
And he takes something with him, I think dynamite or something. And then moments pass, and all you hear is a faint explosion in the background. And he comes running back. He's covered in blood. And one of the girls says, oh, my God, you're bleeding. And Furiosa knows right away that's not his blood.
Yeah.
It's just great. Didn't see anything. All you heard was the explosion.
Yep, you didn't have to.
That's all you needed. And he comes back looking like he's just slaughtered 20 people.
Again, it's back to, as we talked about in the Road Warrior, Mad Max 2, it's back to amazing show don't tell. Not even, let's say we're just being shown the aftermath. It's just brilliant visual storytelling by Miller, who really knows his shit in terms of visual storytelling.
Yeah, it's fucking masterclass. I mean, this guy's pretty much written what he did was pretty much create his own graphic novel, comic book wise, and then he's the one who, from paper to screen.
Yeah.
So we go to the sand dunes and we meet the women. These are women that she grew up with. Now, did you catch Valkyrie was in this?
Yes, it did. Indeed.
That's her sister that we meet in the beginning of Furiosa, which we'll talk about.
That's right. Yep.
And she goes, how long's it been? She goes, 7,000 days.
Yeah.
And then she goes, what about Mom? She died on the 3rd day.
Yeah.
Because I guess I read up on this. He actually wrote Furiosa before this.
Yeah. He probably, when he was writing this, he wrote a backstory. Yeah. For her. Yeah. I love the old woman in this.
Oh, that's what I was talking about with all these characters who are self-sacrificing and all. You meet these older women, and these women have got balls, man. They're just, they don't give a shit. They're gonna fucking like the poor woman, the older one. I love the pole jumpers. They're called polecats. Yep. I love the polecats.
Yeah,
and she takes one of them out, but she gets stabbed in the meantime, and she's dying.
Into shock as well. Yeah.
She knows she's dying.
Yeah.
But she's not letting anyone.
Yes.
She won't let anyone know because there'll be a distraction to what's happening.
I love the scene where we're sort of getting their breath as the audience, but they're talking about what we'll do. It goes, well, there is no green place. You know what I mean? It goes, well, we'll have to get back, and it's, and then they're talking to Max, and Max decides that he's going to stick with them and stuff. He goes, we'll have to get back. And, he tells them how to do it. I go, I thought you weren't crazy anymore. Because Max has went through this journey where him and Furiosa as well have become, they now trust each other type thing. But yeah, so they have to go back. I watched this in the cinema. I saw this when this was first released. I watched this twice in the cinema. First time was with a friend. The second time was I brought my ma because it was so good. And my ma was just gobsmacked at how all this insane stuff going on. And then eventually they get to the other side, but then they bump into all these old women and decide, after all the hell we've been through, we're going to go back again.
Well, but he makes a good argument. He tells them, he goes, listen, you can sit there and go 1,700 miles for an oasis that's not going to be there. He goes, I've seen this before. And he's right. I've seen this before. So our best bet is now that the Citadel is emptied with all the baddies, because they're coming after us, we bust through these guys, we can take over the Citadel. And he's right. Mm-hmm. It could be a one-way ticket, but it's the best way around this.
Yep, the chances are they're going to die either way. So, but their best option, and he's right. Don't forget, Max is an ex-cop, so he's his head screwed on in many ways, despite his literally being Mad Max. So yeah, it's the right decision. Plus, it gives us one hell of a cool finale.
Jesus, that whole sequence where Max has to run to the back of the truck, cut down the harpoons that are holding back the truck. Then he gets sucked by a polecat. Then he's hanging by the side of the car, and Furiosa gets stabbed, and she's barely hanging on to him. Then Nux, I believe,
her lungs are collapsing,
and then Nux fucking has to fucking flip him around to Mr. No Nose, his car. He uses him as a human shield, and then so Mr. Nose gets out of it. I mean, it's just, and again, but every shot is in chaos. Every shot, the way it's shot, it's so smoothly done, but it's chaos. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Plus, on top of all this, he has to fight hand to hand with Erectus,
Yeah, exactly. But the great thing about that fight sequence, the girls help him. And
they all help each other.
They all help each other. There's nobody hiding, and they're all Zoe Kravitz kids, but then she ends up helping out, and it's just it's just this gorgeous ballet. That's all I can call it.
You know what this is? Well, I would call it something maybe less grand, but I mean the exact same thing. It's basically big budget A-team, and trust me, I mean that.
Come on, I wouldn't say that.
No, that's a compliment.
Is it?
A complete compliment. I love the A-team.
I mean,
100% it is. I love the A-team. And how they banded together with these people in need. And bear with me, they banded together with these people in need to help them out for the greater cause, and they made sacrifices and stuff. So I mean this 1,000,000% as a compliment. But this is just done in a more professional way, obviously. And with a much bigger budget.
My other thing is when they're fighting and the Doof Warrior's playing his guitar, and he goes, and the guy who played him says, "Yeah, that I just had I strum it and the fire would come out." He goes, but whatever's going around him, he's still fucking playing that guitar. That bastard playing his heart out. And I love when Furiosa just rips the mask off, and if you pause it, you can see the skeletal of the jaw, but
his jaws get ripped off.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's done so fast. Like I mentioned before, with his style and when definitely mentioned Furiosa, his stuff seems like it's violent, but there's very little blood in these films. It's besides little wounds and stuff like that. Well, and yes, you get people thrown under trucks and stuff. And so it's not gratuitous. It's not gratuitous in any way. It can come off uncomfortable, but it's not gratuitous. It's nothing
because
like
it's handled correctly by somebody who knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
i.e. George Miller.
So and then of course in Max style, once Furiosa gets there and she's going on the elevator, she looks down at him and he disappears into the crowd.
And of course, but before that, Nux gives, whenever he makes a self-sacrifice for them to get to the Citadel, by crashing the war rig, a brilliant touch again, where, the way the war boys, their chant is, "Witness me." His final words are, witness me, but it's a completely different context, where he is doing it not to get to Valhalla for a Morton Joe and to walk with a Morton Joe. He's doing it for it's humanity. He's restored to humanity. And if you notice as well about Nux, see, as this film progresses, his white warboy paint comes off him more and more, and you see more of, his real person. It's basically symbolic for his return to humanity. Even though he's got a couple of wee fucking, hard to get ahead in advertising freak things hanging up, those boys, that he's given names to. But yeah.
There you go. For your own guys. Fucking complete opposite of that train wreck. We just talked about Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. I said it before.
One of the greatest films of the 21st century so far.
Yeah, I'll say it again. It's a masterpiece. And very few masterpieces out there. Shawshank Redemption, Die Hard, Psycho, Jaws, It's a Wonderful Life, Bridge on the River Kwai, and Mad Max Fury Road is going to be. It's incredible. It is just masterclass, and I'm looking forward to talking Furiosa next because I just watched them back to back, and it's just an adrenaline rush. And then you get it's but I'll discuss that more when we talk Furiosa, of how I felt at the very end of Furiosa. But wow, I hope, because the box office, unfortunately, the box office, which we'll talk about it in a minute here, Furiosa, but I'm hoping that it finds its niche, on sales and 4K and so forth, and they get that little resurgence so Miller can complete. I think there's a trilogy here, and it's got to be with Hardy, and I'd love to see Charlize Theron come back as Furiosa. It'd be it's going to be nice to see that.
The one in the pipeline is going to be called Mad Max: The Wasteland, which was always in the pipeline since this one, but the problem is it's now potentially up in the air because of the poor box office performance of Furiosa.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that when we talk Furiosa. Listen, guys, thanks for this. Has been a little longer one. Again, I do apologize for getting it out late, and we got a busy time coming up. We're gonna wrap up the Mad Max Furiosa. We got the 2 Beetlejuices coming out, and then we hit Horror Month. We've got most of the titles picked, but as you probably already know, it's going to be Smile 2. Oh God. We got to revisit Smile. Me and Trevor hated it, but it'd be interesting to see if they fixed what we hated about it. So we'll be doing that one. Salem's Lot. Finally, the reboot is getting released on digital on demand October 5th. And we're also to be doing a great special with screenwriter Pete Atkins in regards to one of my favorite guilty pleasures, Wishmaster. He'll be live while we're doing that review. So it'll be kind of fun to, from page to screen. And then those ones will be recorded in October. And then we're also going to be doing Founders Day, a little slasher film that I thought was quite fun in the vein of movies like Scream. We're also going to be doing the Amityville Horror, as we need to get back to our 70s classics. And I think that's all we got right now. Do you got anything you want to add?
No, that's about it from me. Yeah. Until next time, folks, when we talk Furiosa.
Here we are. Guys, give us a shout on Instagram on Instagram? Citizen Frame _podcast on Instagram, and of course Facebook. We're out of here. Take care of yourselves. We'll chat soon.